Hi there, my name is Rozalynn Goodwin. I'm the co-founder of Confidence, a curly girls hair care solutions brand that I started with my daughter Gabby when she was just 7 years old. We are the inventors of the first and only guaranteed anti-slip double face double snap hair barrette for girls called GaBBY Bows. Of course, they work like this. You wrap hair in the middle and that center strip, snap one end closed, snap the other end closed, and they are guaranteed not to fall out. With our hair barrettes, our full line of plant-based girls natural hair care products, retail store and girls salon here in Columbia, South Carolina, we remove stress from styling so families can bond over beauty. I wanted to just take a moment and share a little bit that's on my heart. We are in the process of raising $1 million of venture capital, and there's so much that's going on in the news, specifically related to the Fearless Fund, who has been an amazing foundation and support for us. We went through their Get Venture Ready program a couple of years ago. They have been behind at least one grant that we have won in a partnership with them. So they've just been an amazing partner, and it really bothers me, I'm gonna just be honest, that they are facing a federal lawsuit for the work that they are doing. And I and my daughter Gabby are the reason why they exist. So I really want to take some time and share a little bit about our story. You may see us on social media and you think we just have so many wonderful things going on for us, and we do, but it has really been a challenge. Honestly, it has been a struggle to raise the capital that is necessary to fulfill my daughter's dream. So let me give you a little bit of background. Many of you may know our brand. You may be excited about our brand. GaBBY Bows, of course, is the first and only guaranteed anti-slip hair barrette for girls. We hold 3 patents on the barrettes. We started when Gabby was just 7 years old, and she's been named the South Carolina Young Entrepreneur of the Year, the youngest to ever be named that. She's also been named the Young Entrepreneur of the Year for the state of South Carolina through the SBA. She's been the Black Enterprise Teenpreneur of the Year. We have been a Diverse Business of the Year for the SCORE Business Foundation, and received numerous accolades from so many amazing organizations. Of course, I said that we started when my daughter was 7 years old. This process really started 2 years before that. I was styling my daughter's hair every single day in pigtails, braids, and twists like my mom styled my hair, putting plastic barrettes on the end. You all know that old school nostalgic type of styling. My husband and I wanted our daughter to really embrace being a girl, and we didn't want society or anybody else to rush her into becoming a woman. We got a lot of things and pressures in society that are trying to make our girls adult faster than they need to be. So we were very intentional, and we always have been. She's 16 now, but people still compliment us on, she's age appropriate, the way she dresses, the way her hair is done, those type things. So I was styling her hair, 5 years old, in twists, braids, barrettes on the ends, just like my mom did, ribbon on the top or some type of decorative bow. That's how we did it, and that's how we wanted her to be. We weren't trying to make her look older than she was. I took a lot of pride in doing that every single day. 15-20 minutes doing her hair before sending her off to preschool at that time, or then kindergarten as she got a little older. Spent all that time on her hair. It was, definitely a time of bonding, but I was frustrated every time because I knew when I picked her up, her hair was going to be a hot mess. So that was just constant. So she'd come home and I would interrogate her. Gabby, what happened to your bows? Somebody messing with your bows? You lost them on the playground? Like, what is going on? And she's just looking at me like, Mama, I'm just being a kid. I don't know what's going on with my bows. But what we realized is that they were not designed for her beautiful thick hair. And we were just using the barrettes that were available. I would go every 2 weeks and re-up on barrettes, like buying barrettes every single week. And they were cheap, but you know, $1 per pack, 10 packs every 2 weeks, man, that really starts to add up. So I started to think about it. I'm like, what are we doing here? Like, I love styling my daughter's hair like this, but I'm buying these barrettes every 2 weeks. There's got to be another way. There's got to be a better way. I got on social media, a platform that's name has changed since, and just put something out there because I was just frustrated. I said something like, I can't even remember what it is. Can't even find the post. But, you know, I'm sick and tired of buying these barrettes every 2 weeks, them falling off, and then me having to replace them. Like, this is making me sick and tired. Is anybody found anything better? I said something like that. So I got off my phone, went to go do something else. You know, it's a Sunday, so I'm trying to prepare for the work week and the school week. I got Gabby, who's 5. My son is 1 and nocturnal. I've got a job, a demanding job that I know I've got to make sure that I'm ready for and just make sure everybody's situated. I get off the phone, prepare for the week. I hop back on the phone just to kind of check in to see what's going on with everybody else's life. And all of these comments were there from these moms. I was just like, whoa, okay, what's going on? They were agreeing. I'm sick and tired of these bows. This is crazy. Or I have to put rubber bands around them. They've tried different brands, or people just said I just gave up. So I'm replying back to them and just like, you know, if you find something that works, let me know. I'm like, okay, yeah, we just got to figure this out. There's got to be something out there. Our pastor hops into this exchange with all of these women and replies to me, sounds like a market you need to break into. 2 weeks later, I'm styling Gabrielle's hair and I'm frustrated. Before I even send her to school, I'm like, I'm spending all this time. When I pick her up, these barrettes are not gonna be her. Her hair is gonna be all out of place. Her hair gonna be a hot mess. I already know the pictures I'm gonna get from preschool. It's gonna be a mess. And I mumbled under my breath. I thought I was not audible, but apparently I was. I said something like, man, somebody needs to make a bow. Gabby jumped out of her seat and said, Mommy, are we gonna make a bow? I was shocked because I was just like I just right now, just speechless, didn't know what to say. I said something to kind of brush her off, I thought. But whatever I said, she was thinking about constantly. Must have been at school, because as soon as I picked her up that day with her hair all out of place, the first thing she said to me when she got in the car is, Mommy, when are we gonna make my bows? She really believed that we could make a bow, and it was that easy. like we could draw it and it would just magically appear. Like, she really thought that we could make a bow that would stay in her hair. She would not let it go. I will never forget, we were walking through Publix one day, grocery shopping. We were going down an aisle and she said, Mommy, are my bows gonna be sold in Publix? I was like, whoa. Because every day, I mean, literally, Mommy, when are my bows coming? Mommy, when are we going to start working on my bows? Mommy, when are my bows coming? Can we start working on my bows today? I mean, just every day, just persistence. When she said that at Publix, I really had to just stop in my tracks and just say, okay, there must have been something to what my pastor said. And when we got home, I prayed to God. I said, you know, God, if there is something here, you're going to have to show me. And sure enough, he did. But what we had to start doing was just moving on what we could do. So Gabby and I literally would sit at the kitchen table every day for a few minutes and start working on what I thought at the time was just a science project. We'll come up with a concept, and I am in policy and advocacy. I know how to lobby. That's what I am. I am a registered lobbyist. So I figured if we came up with an idea, I can lobby an existing hair accessory company into taking this on and naming it after Gabby. And we'll get, enough money to put aside for her college education. Like, that was my biggest, wildest dream. So we said, okay, we're going to create a barrette that stays, but we're also going to create a barrette that has two faces, so you can always see the adorable design regardless of how the hair moves. So we went on this amazing adventure to create the perfect hair bow that would stay in girls' pigtails, braids, and twists and pinups. Never thought we'd be starting a business. So I'm getting these images out, 3D images of this barrette out to all these different companies, hearing nothing back. Months of doing that. I'm on my lunch break. I'll never forget, this woman called. Well, I called her, got this woman on the phone, and she said, "Ma'am, you need to speak to Stan." And I said, "I do?" And she said, "Yes, hold on just a minute." And I was like, oh my God, like all this calling, I'm finally going to talk to somebody who can make a decision, who can give me some direction. I'm so excited. She connects me to Stan. Stan answers the phone. Stan tells me he hadn't received any of the stuff that I've been sending. I don't know who got it, but he gave me his direct email address, told me to send the drawing, and then my basis or proposal. So I had a whole thing written out about this company, and I had researched when they had tried to create barrettes, particularly targeting those with thick curly hair, and how they had not been successful, but this was why. And I had solved the problem with my daughter, and we just would like them to call them their company by Gabby. And I had done some research and market research. I had all those things in my proposal. And we went through 2 rounds with the focus group. I was so excited. I was just like, oh my God, I can't believe that this is happening. We worked hard. At this point, probably over a year, we're going to get picked up by this huge company. They're going to cut us a check. We're going to put it in the bank, and Gabby's going to be set for college. He called back and said, as much as your idea is great, it doesn't fit in our strategic direction, so we're going to have to pass. I thought we were done. I thought that the work we put in was about to be rewarded, and that was going to be it. And now I am stuck with my daughter still asking me every day, "Mommy, when are my bows coming?" I was just like, Stan, I really appreciate what you've done, but I really need your help. I cannot tell my daughter or teach my daughter that when somebody says no, that you quit. So he said, okay. We have a company, an engineering company that we worked with close to you in the next state over in North Carolina. I'm going to give you 2 firms' phone numbers. You can call them. Now, they're going to tell you they don't work with startups. But when they tell you that, you can tell them Stan told you to call. Well, I called the first number and it was disconnected. And I said, okay, this must not be who I'm supposed to be talking to. I called the next number and I explained who I was. And they said, "Ma'am, we don't work with startups." And then I said, "Well, Stan told me to call." And then they sucked their teeth like, okay, ma'am, you got 15 minutes. So I took off work early, drove to Charlotte, North Carolina to meet with the boat group. I go into the meeting and it is the boardroom is filled with white men. So I go in with my drawing. That's all I got. I got a drawing about a barrette that will stay in girls' hair who have thick hair to go at the ends of braids, pigtails, and twists. I tried my best to explain what that was with my little drawing, and people were looking at me like I had 4 heads. They did not get it. And I remember one of the men coming up like beside me in the chair, and he said, "Hold on a minute." He went to the next room and found a mannequin head, and he whispered in my ear and put it in front of me. He said, "Ma'am, start over." And as soon as he put down the mannequin head, I said, "Oh, okay, hold on, give me a minute. I'm gonna run to the car and I'm gonna see I know I'm not gonna see, because I'm gonna put my hand in my seat and I know I'm gonna find a cheap barrette that has fallen off my daughter's hair just in between the seats, the car seats. I found a long lost barrette, came back into the meeting and asked them if I could start over. So I demonstrated how the cheap, poor quality barrette would not stay in this mannequin head's doll. So I twisted the mannequin head's hair, put the barrette on the end, pulled it, it came right out. And then I said, that is why we need this. And then I explained again the 3D drawing, and they looked at me and they said, wow, okay, you might be onto something. I was like, I know. And they started working with us. They helped us really design the GaBBY Bow for manufacturing. We were off to the races. We had a barrette. They connected us to manufacturers. The manufacturers helped us get the first prototype done. We get our first packs of barrettes. And somewhere in between this time, I get an attorney involved, because I realized that all of these 3D drawings have gone out. I'm dealing with engineers, I'm dealing with manufacturers, and I am not covered at all on the legal front. Stuff started costing money at that point. And while we had excellent and have excellent credit, I thought we had wonderful relationships with our banks, I just knew that the little girl who would come in for me for deposits and withdrawals and get lollipops would be able to get a loan to help fund some of this work they were doing with the engineers and manufacturers. Nah, with all of those accolades, we still have had great challenges in accessing capital. When people ask me what our greatest challenge has been over 9 years through all of the accolades and people saying how wonderful our brand is, and our brand being featured in all types of media, from Good Morning America to Today to The Real, and all these big platforms, Black Enterprise, Kiplinger Magazine, Inc., we still have had challenges raising capital. Our greatest challenge in over 9 years of business has been access to capital. So the Fearless Fund is vitally important to our business. We weren't able to get any type of financial support from our bank. We eventually moved to a smaller bank that was just able to work with us a little bit better. They were a smaller local community bank, and they were able to just be more flexible with us than a big chain large bank. But I had to dip. We didn't have place, so we went into savings, and then the prices started getting a whole lot more expensive. I was okay, I can't wipe out my savings. I learned a little bit about how, because I was still working and am still working, how I could borrow money from my retirement and just pay myself back as I got paid every 2 weeks. So a small $5,000 loan there, and then when costs really started ramping up, I borrowed more from my retirement fund. So I think in total we've probably funded through retirement loans, and then my husband just pulling out retirement because he had already left his job and then taking penalty. Mike and I have invested more than $200,000 into our daughter's dream. Doors just didn't magically open for us to fund this dream. We've had to fund the dream until it could fund itself. We learned about grants and pitch competitions. We were applying for grants, and we still do. Every week, finding grants, applying for grants. To date, we're 9 years in business now. We've been able to win over $450,000 in capital through grants and pitch competitions. Non-dilutive capital. So that means that we've retained 100% ownership of the company at that point. We decided when we needed to create our latest design, which is Daddy's Girl, that we didn't have the savings or the capital and we couldn't depend on a grant or a pitch competition. Let's crowdfund. We realized or learned what crowdfunding was. non-equity crowdfunding. We did a Kickstarter campaign when Gabby was 9 years old, and we raised $28,000. The goal was $25,000. It took everything for us to raise $28,000. And raised the $28,000, added our third design of the GaBBY Bow, which is Daddy's Girl, and then added more colors that our customers at the time were really demanding. We're now up to 15 colors and 3 different designs. After we did all of that, raised money for Daddy's Girl and added a new design, we were still kind of right where we were. I mean, sales were good, but people still wanted more designs. They still wanted more colors. And I'm just like, this cannot be the way for us to grow. And still at that time, I think maybe we had been able to convince a local community bank to give us a microloan, but no big capital funding. So as our customers were asking for more barrettes, we were doing demonstrations with other people's hair products. We were showing them, we were building a community of moms and a few brave dads who wanted to care for their daughter's hair. So we would demonstrate with a hairstylist, a natural hairstylist, how to apply GaBBY Bows, but to use other people's hair products in styling them. But we still kept hearing from our moms that I'm having a lot of challenges with tangling. The tangling is still a nightmare for us. And we're like, wait, maybe we should introduce some hair products. We started researching it and recognized that there were partners that we could, partner with for private label, white label hair products. And we could introduce a hair product line in 6 months or less. And it would be cheaper than us creating a brand new mold and brand new colors of the GaBBY Bows. We thought it was a nice extension of our brand because we were already teaching moms how to care for their daughter's hair, style their daughter's hair with our barrettes. We could come in and help solve those problems that they had with the tangling. We saw that a lot of them were still using hair grease. Listen, if you're listening to me and you're still using hair grease, come on, y'all. It's 2023. It's some stuff we just got to leave behind. So we said, let's create a plant-based, lightweight alternative to hair grease for these moms. So we introduced our detangling and conditioning milk, which is our liquid gold. Listen, it reduces detangling tears in time in half. Our moms swear by it. We introduced our scalp pomade, which is that lightweight plant-based alternative to hair grease, as well as our moisturizing style cream that just maintains styles and moistures for days on end. We introduced those in 2019, and it was a way for us to continue to grow. We increased our average order value. We increased our customer retention because these products would deplete and people had to replenish them. So things started moving, and we recognized, of course, the hair product space is crowded. It's more crowded than accessories, and particularly double face, double snap hair barrettes. But we already had the audience. So we just figured, let's keep serving our audience. What other needs do they have? Let's keep serving their needs. So we just decided to innovate in the business vertical, in the vertical of girls' hair care. And we continued to do that. 2021, we had space at our owned hair headquarters. And I say owned headquarters because our family owns the building. We have space, so we decided to test a hairstyling. That is how we've evolved to continue to build and grow our business, to fund our business. Loans, retirement funds, grants, pitch competitions, extensions of our products. All of these things to continue to grow and to bring in capital, because accessing capital has not been easy. So when you hear the Fearless Fund talking about Black and brown women being the most founded, no one starts businesses more than Black women. Nobody. No other demographic. We're the most founded, but the least funded. They're talking about us. They're talking about our story. So you're listening to a mama trying to raise $1 million. Who has, through blood, sweat, tears, grind, and no sleep, has raised over $898,000 in non-dilutive capital. But we're still underfunded. We have a term sheet now. We've had our initial closing. We're grateful that that same angel group that was with us 7 years ago was now leading our $1 million seed round. We had our initial closing, and I wish there was someone on my cap table who looked like me. I really do. I yearn to be in a room where I'm pitching to accredited investors who get it. Like, I demonstrate how the barrette works, and they're like, oh my God, where you been all my life? I lost all my barrettes when I was a little girl. I don't get that. I just wanted to share a little bit about what my journey has been and what it's been. I hope that it encourages others, particularly those who look like me, who are founders, who have created, who have an idea of a product, don't know where to start. Maybe something that I've shared gives you some inspiration to say, okay, I didn't think about borrowing money from my retirement. I didn't think about a crowdfunding campaign. I didn't think about extending our service or product or doing something to better serve our customers, to bootstrap to raise the money that I needed to grow. But more than that, I hope someone's listening who really sees why the Fearless Fund is so important, and that you will support them by signing the petition, donating to the cost that it's requiring for them to fight this lawsuit, spreading the word to others who can sign and support. Because fearless freedom is for all of us. It involves all of us. It involves brands that you know and you love and you support, but you may not understand that our brand in particular, you love Gabby, you love GaBBY Bows, you love our products. You may not be thinking about this Fearless Fund lawsuit, but I need you to think about it, because our brand and a lot of brands like it really depend on the work of Fearless Fund and other funds that help us get ready for venture, that help us be able to access grants and pitch competitions. They're very vital for us sticking around. They've been vital for our growth, and they'll be vital for our future.